So inshallah we'll go and start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we will do ayat number 67 of Surah Al-Baqarah today. This ayat and the next several ayats of this surah are about a story of Bani Israel and a conversation between Musa alayhi salam and Bani Israel. And this is about a cow that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked them to slaughter. And they started asking questions, a lot of questions they asked. Okay? And so this is the story of that event. And the name of the surah Al-Baqarah comes from this story. Baqarah means a cow. Okay, that's the name of the surah Al-Baqarah. Okay. So first we will do a simple translation. This is the first ayat of that story. There are many more ayats. So first we will do a simple translation. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Wa idh qala Musa. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and when Musa said, Musa alayhi salam said something, liqawmihi, to his people. He said something to his own people who are the Bani Israel. Okay? What did he say? Inna Allaha ya'amurukum. Indeed, or surely, what I am telling you is surely Allah is commanding you. Allah is giving you an order. So this is what Musa alayhi salam is telling his people, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you an order. And what is that order? An tazbahu baqara, that you slaughter a cow. Slaughter a cow. So Bani Israel heard that, and they responded to Musa alayhi salam by saying, Qalu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they replied, they said to Musa alayhi salam, Atattakhizuna huzwa. And we'll explain to that. The meaning is that they said, O Musa, are you joking with us? Are you making fun of us? Or are you saying something which is a matter of laughing? And the concept behind is that they were saying, why does Allah need a cow to be slaughtered? What's the interest of Allah for slaughtering a cow? So their reply was to their prophet, are you joking with us? Okay? So we'll understand that. So Musa alayhi salam replied by saying, Qala a'udhu billahi. He said, Musa alayhi salam said, A'udhu billahi. I seek refuge or I seek protection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. An akuna, that I become or I be minal jahilin, among those people who are the ignorant ones. He said, that's not what my intention is. That why would I be doing joking with you when this is a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I am not ignorant one, I am a prophet among you. So then the story continues after that. They started asking multiple questions, so but we will try to understand this much. Okay? So going back, the ayat starts with the word wa idh qala. Okay? So notice that these three words, wa, idh, and qala, this is the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is saying these three words in the Quran. Okay? So ayat starts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning something. Wa idh qala, wa means and many ayats of the Quran starts with wa. Wa with the fatah means and. Okay? That's a style. Idh means when. And as I have mentioned a few times, that idh and iza are two different words. Iz and iza. Okay? Idh means when, iza also means when. Okay. Is used when something about past is going to be talked about. Iza is used when something about future is going to be talked about. Okay. So when the ayat starts and you see the word is, it means something of the history is going to be discussed now. Okay. And when the word or the ayat starts with Iza jaa nasrullahi wal fathu, when the help of Allah will come. Okay, so that is Iza. Okay, Iza zulzilatil ardu zilzalaha, when the earth will be shaken with a big earthquake, something in the future. Okay, so the word Iza is used for that. But if something in the past, the story of Musa alayhi salam happened in the past tense, the ayat will start with the word id. So in Arabic, just by one word, you can draw a lot of information. Okay? So here the word is id, and when. And then the word, next word is, these are the root letters, qawal, qaf, waw, lam, and this means to say. And we'll see a couple other places this word comes. So if I put a fatha on each of them, qawala, that means he said. Third person past tense. Okay. Fa'ala means to do. And if we put three fathas on it, fa'ala, he did. Okay. So now again, just to go back a little bit more, waw and fatha don't go together because the sound of waw is u and fatha sound is sound of alif. So this is a mismatch, especially waw is called a weak letter. There are three weak letters in Arabic alphabets: alif, waw, and ya. Alif, waw, and ya. In English, these are like vowels. Okay, and these are called weak letters or huruf illat. Illat means sick. Okay, so whenever they come in the middle of a word, and if the harakat, which is fatha, dhamma, and kasra, is mismatching, because alif goes with fatha, waw goes with dhamma, and ya goes with kasra. The sound of these things. So this waw, in this case, with a fatha changes into an alif. So the word becomes qala. Waw with a fatha sound will become sound of alif. So what is qala? And when said, or he said. Okay? But there is a noun after that, Musa, so we don't have to translate he here. The meaning will be and when Musa said. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing in the Quran a statement of Musa alayhi salam by starting the ayat when Musa said, or when it was said by Musa. Moses said, okay, what is the qala Musa? Now what did he say, or who did he say? In the Quran, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes a statement of some person or a prophet or any human being, then there are usually two things will show up after that. Either that person is saying to someone, so the audience will be mentioned. And then next thing will be, what is he saying? So in this case, both are there. لِقَوْمِهِ is his audience, the people who are going to listen to him. So let's look at that. The word starts with Qaf, Waw and Mim. These three letters have many meanings. One of the meanings is to stand up, Qiyam or Qaim or establish. But one meaning when we make like this, Qawmun, Qawmun, nation or people. Nation or people. Okay. Qawmun means people or nation. If it's a lot of people, then you can use the word nation. But if there is a group of people, then you can say only people. Okay? So qawmun is the word. It's a noun, and all the nouns end up with two dhammas here. Sound of noon, qawmun. Okay? Now, if I put a lam with a kasra before that, which means to or for, okay, and then I also put another letter who, which means his, and this is people. Okay, so there are this next word is made of three small words. One is li, one is qawmun, and one is who. Okay. Now, qawmun is a noun, and his is a pronoun. So when we combine these two together, in English we will say his pupil. Okay. But in Arabic, when you combine a noun and a pronoun, one of these dhammas is not pronounced. So this will become qawmuhu. Okay, the combination of these two words will be qawmuhu. It will be written like this. Mim will have only one dhamma on it, and who, when it is combined, it's written like that. This ha. Okay. So now the word is qawmuhu, his people. Okay. His people are the Bani Israel, the people of Musa alayhi salam. Those who believed in him are Bani Israel. Qawmuhu. Okay. Now this letter lam with a kasra means two. It's a harf-e-jar. What harf-e-jar does is that it changes dhamma on the next word into a kasra. So this will become qawmi. Qawmi. And for the pronunciation, we also pronounce this ha with a kasra. So it becomes qawmihi. Okay. So the word is li qawmihi, to his people. So this is the audience. Who is he talking to? To his own people. Okay. So the meaning is to his people. Here, the final word is qawmihi, and lam goes with that. Li qawmihi, to his pupil. Okay. Now one more thing will happen, that after this word li qawmihi, there is a word inna. The word is inna. Okay. Now, inna has a hamza underneath. Okay. If before hamza there is a ha or ya or alif, then you have to prolong the pronunciation of this ha here. Okay? So you have to pronounce liqawmihi long here, because it is the effect of this hamza backward on the word. Okay? Now in Arabic script, we put a ya like that with a mud. Okay? This is a mud actually. Okay? A big ya with a mud is simply a stretching sound. لِقَوْمِهِ. In Indo-Pak script of the Quran, they don't put this thing, but they put a small alif here underneath. It's just different styles of writing. Meaning is same and action is same. You have to pronounce لِقَوْمِهِ. Okay? To his people. So Musa alayhi salam said to his people. What did he say? The next words are what Musa alayhi salam saying. So up to this point, the words were of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now the speech of Musa alayhi salam is starting. The words of Musa alayhi salam. The first word he uses, inna. Inna. Inna has meaning to bring this surety in there. Surely or indeed, or positively or without any doubt, just to bring this the surety in this statement. Also, inna usually comes before a noun. Okay? In this case, the noun is, original word is Allahu. Allahu is the actual word. Last letter has a dhamma on this. Allahu. When inna comes before that, and there are a few other words, inna, anna, ka'anna, when those words come before a noun, they change this last dhamma to a fatah. Meaning does not change as the pronunciation changes. So you will now pronounce inna Allah. Indeed Allah. Indeed Allah. When you combine these two, then you do not pronounce this alif also. Noon will go with the lam, and this will become hamzatul wasl, and you put a little swad on it. That means do not pronounce alif. So the combination of these will be inna Allah. Okay. Also there is a rule, if you pay attention, that whenever in the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only in the word of Allah, this is a lam here. If the letter before lam has a fatah, then you have to pronounce Allah with heavy mouth, full mouth. Like in the azan, you have Allah, like your mouth is full. Okay? But if there is a kasra, then you pronounce lam softly. Okay? Kitabillah, billah. Okay? Fatah, heavy sound. Kasra, soft sound. And dhamma also heavy sound. Okay? So this is, if you try to pay attention on the azan when it is being called by the correct pronunciation, then you will notice those differences. Okay? So the word here is in, and then again, this is a noon with a shadda. This should be pronounced with a stretching sound. Inna Allah. And sound should come as a noon gunna with heavy stretching at least 2 to 3 times. But this is just a tajweed. The meaning is that indeed Allah. Musa alayhi salam is saying, surely what I'm going to say you are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he is conveying to them a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying, starting the word from indeed Allah. Okay. Then after that he says, Ya'amurukum. Okay. Okay, so the word is Hamza, Mim and Ra. Okay. This means to order or to command. Or to order. Okay. So notice that in Arabic when you have this line with a Hamza on it, it is Hamza, it is not Alif. This long line is just that Hamza is sitting on top of it, that's what it is. It's called chair of Hamza. Okay, kursi. Now, if we go back and look at the word again, fa'ala means to do, and yaf'alu, if you put a ya in the beginning, and sound yaf'alu means he does. In Arabic, how we make the grammar of third person and present tense, we put a ya in the beginning of the three letters. Okay? And then pronounce yaf'alu, these three letters. He, third person, and does is the past and present tense. So if you apply that grammar here, this will become Ya'amuru. In this case, Mim will carry a Dhamma, Ya'amuru. He commands. Present tense, third person. Also, this is a Hamza here. Okay? So you are combining Ya with a Hamza. So it is not Ya. No. It is, they don't pronounce like Y-A, Ya, or Ya like that. Okay? This is a Hamza. So you have to combine like a jerk, ya, ya, not ya. Moro, ya'amuru means he commands. Okay, who commands? The word is Allah. Allah commands. And kum means you, plural you. You all people, Allah is commanding you.
Question. What's the difference between Alif and Hamza other than pronunciation with the Shadika? Any other?
Well, in Arabic there is no Alif.
Okay.
In Urdu we call Alif.
But there
And
is
in Urdu
Alif
they don't write
Arabic.
Hamza on top of it.
Right. No, but in Arabic there is Alif. When you start the letter,
Yeah,
Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha.
yeah, but if you go to real thing, you will see Alif written like that.
No, but when you don't have
Alphabets,
that
I'm talking
Hamza,
about.
yeah, letters, I'm talking
Yeah.
about letters, there is, oh, so what you're saying is that Alif will come with Hamza?
In Arabic qaida,
Yeah.
first letter is written like this.
अलिफ अगर खाली अलिफ है तो अलिफ है, अगर उस पे हरकत आ गई
हाँ.
Oh, you're right.
फता
वो
धम्मा
हमजा.
या तो फिर
So
वो
then-
हमजा हो गया.
हाँ.
So then, what is the difference between this and this?
So this is
Alif,
okay.
alif.
He is calling this Alif and this Hamza
Hamza.
here, which means this line is not under there. Okay,
Right.
but this needs a chair to sit on.
That's
Yeah.
fine. So what I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand is what's
Yeah,
the
because-
difference between this and this?
Because I also have seen that sometimes they don't have this thing. We can discuss this after the class.
Okay.
So, ya'muru, he commands, Allah commands, because the word is Allah is, kum means you plural, Allah commands you. So he's talking to his people, Bani Israel, listen, all of you who are listening to me, Allah is commanding you, or Allah commands you. Allah orders you. Okay? Now we'll look at one more group of words. So what is he commanding you? Antazbahu. Okay? So dal, ba, and ha. This means to slaughter or to sacrifice. Zabah. Okay? And if I put a ta in the beginning, tazbahuna, means you, plural, present tense. Taf'aluna is the grammar. When you put a ta in the beginning and huna at the end, it becomes you, and plural and present tense. So word is fa'ala, to do. Taf'aluna means you do. Taf'aluna. Taf'aluna means you do, present tense, and second person, plural. So tazbahuna will be you slaughter. Okay? You are slaughtering. Okay? It's a present tense. Okay? Now what happens that this word, special word is called an. Okay? An means that. Okay? When an comes, by using the present tense, we make a little change in the meaning. If we drop this noon at the end, then the meaning changes. Meaning will be you should slaughter. Okay? So in the English, the meaning should is a suggestion and advice. You should go. But you are not ordering the person to go. But you are suggesting to the person, you should go. So that is how in Arabic should is brought. That is put, this an is put in the beginning. And this last noon is dropped. Antazbahu means that you should slaughter. Allah orders you that you should slaughter, or you slaughter. Antazbahu, that you should do it. Okay? So, you slaughter, or you sacrifice. Okay? Allah commands you, He orders you that you sacrifice or you slaughter.